So many people want the magic pill of enlightenment. I get it. I did too. And but for me, it's more important what you do moment by moment with your attention that really makes the difference. We're quite familiar at this point with it matters what I put my attention on, prosperity, well-being, relationships. But what people are not talking about yet is where your attention is from.
Yes, good point.
Makes a critical difference. And now on the edges of your field, you have sensors that pick up information. We're going to turn those sensors in. Instead
Cool.
of you picking up attention outside, I want you to start bringing attention inside. Great exercise for people pleasers. I'm a people pleaser. So I love to please, right? But people pleasers tend to be so focused on other people and helpers, and we like to help, and we tend to give away too much.
Mhm.
We tend to be exhausted, right? So by turning our sensors in, we become aware of our own energy. And instead of trying to raise our vibration, don't do that.
Hello, hello, Colby. Great
Well,
to have
hello,
you
hello,
on the
hello.
show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Today I'm talking to Colby Wilk, and he's helping people to awaken in different ways. So I think this conversation is going to be very interesting for people who are looking for awakening or going through the process or just had some kind of shift and need to integrate, because we are going to touch up on all kinds of interesting and very important points. And to start with, I ask everyone, every guest, what is your definition of awakening? Please.
Oh, I love that question because I see so many people who say, Colby, I want to awaken, I want to enlighten. And I tend to ask them, well, what do you mean by that? And so usually they don't know. They have no sense. They just know it's a state, an elevated state, and they want it. There are as many forms of enlightenment as there are people. So my form of awakening has a touch of play to it because I tend to be very playful. Other people's type of awakening has more of a Zen, peaceful quality. There are as many forms of awakening as there are people. Awakening to me is part and parcel of your evolution. It is not the end of your evolution. It is somewhere in there. I'm not going to say it's the middle, the beginning, or the end, but it's your evolutionary right, privilege, possibility to see life as it really is and to see yourself as you really are. I
Mhm.
am much more interested in what this, as opposed to what God is. I'm interested in evolution, my own and yours. What does it mean to be evolved? And to me, when people look at somebody who's awakened and enlightened, what they're seeing is somebody who's more alive.
Oh, beautifully said. I agree.
That's what you see. And that form of being more alive has its own flavor because each person has a flavor of awakening. You are wanting to be more alive. Now, the problem becomes that people think, or the people I've come in concert with, that if I awaken, I have no more problems. That is not true. You have an elevated state, but you still have to pay your mortgage. You still have aches and pains. You still have whatever you have. It is not the soma, the drug to resolve everything. And those people who are called to awakening, you're called. You could do nothing about it, right? You could resist all you want, but you're called. And if you're called, that's it. Because it's not an easy life to go
Mhm.
for and be like it's not. It's not. It's very challenging because you have to unearth a whole bunch of stuff. I hope I answered your question. I kind of went on there for a moment.
Yes, yes. Very, very good. Very detailed. Yes.
Ah,
Mhm. So, could you share a little bit how that awakening or the most important shift happened in your life, in your experience, in your story? What happened?
I am, as you know, I work as a spiritual healer, an intuitive healer, psychic. And so I've always been rather sensitive. I've always known what somebody else feels, believes, expects. It's just what I got this. And so I've always been interested in awakening, enlightenment, and so pursued gurus, shaman, Shaktipat, whatever the case may be, practices. And I've had about somewhere between 5 and 10 Kundalini awakenings, where Kundalini wakes up at the base of the spine and ideally circulates up the main channels and then goes out your crown. And
Hmm.
Kundalini is associated with enlightenment,
Hmm.
awakening. So for me, some people have the experience of they have this experience and boom, everything is different. That's not my path.
Hmm.
Not my path. My path has been slow and incremental. I have a moment, it integrates, and then I have another moment and it integrates. Now, during those integrations, there could be some challenges. This last Kundalini awakening, I pushed. So if you're in an awakening, my tip for your audience is do not push, rest. Rest. Do
Hmm.
not push by doing other practices because I did other practices and the Kundalini, instead of going up the main channels, went up the side channels and acted like a pathogen in my system. And so I deregulated my system. And it took about 3 years of seeing practitioners pretty much 5 days a week and staying in the house because the world was too overwhelming. So to answer your questions, now that I've had these experience, what I didn't realize is how arrogant I was.
Hmm.
It has brought me into humility more so and into more uh, less entitlement and more love, just more love. It's It's as if the background of my consciousness has been cleaned and there's less stuff that causes me to be frustrated, worried, anxious, confused. I still get that, but it's not as pressing. I would say it's almost like taking an antidepressant, anti-anxiety drug without the negative side effects.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I can and I can hear people saying, "I want that."
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
I want what you have.
yeah, I
All
want
right.
what you have.
What's your experience like?
Mm. You mean the shift?
Yeah, the shift.
Oh,
Shifts.
shifts. Yes, many shifts. The I don't even know where to start. Well, the very first shift was on magic mushrooms, where my
Okay.
mind stopped talking for a while. And it was just such a wonderful peace and feeling of home. And just like, oh, I want that. So I went
Right.
looking for that. And my quest, what is reality? Because on that trip, I recognized that I didn't know what reality was. And I just got really curious about that one. And then the most important shift was recognizing that there is no separate self or that there is no Ilona inside, like a puppet
Mm,
master running the show of life. That
hmm.
that that was quite ridiculous thing to see. How could I ever believe that? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Then after a while I had heart opening and it felt like,
Oh,
yeah, explosion. And it took a while to settle, but it was so much love going through. Yeah.
how wonderful.
And yeah, many like mini shifts, realizations, recognitions, and stuff like that. But these would, I would say, the major ones.
I remember I was in an awakening and I kept on seeing in my mind's eye God chasing me with the broom. And I was like a mouse. and God is chasing me around with a broom. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Because if I unify with the Creator's consciousness, the fear was I would cease to exist. I would be a mouse, and it would kill me, kill parts
Mm-hmm.
of me.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realize is it's not that, how do I say this? Because the words don't do it. Or maybe they can. Let's see. That it's not waking the divine spark within you. That's not what enlightenment is for me, or awakening, whatever. What it is for me is the divine version of me, Colby Wilk, wakes up. I wake to Colby Wilk, wakes to Colby Wilk's divinity. It's not God waking up in me, it's me waking up as it. I keep all my personality. I keep all my stuff, not my stuff, but that which is me. That I keep.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a different perspective on that which I am, as you described, but I'm still me. I was
Yeah.
afraid I'd lose that, and that was creating resistance for me having the awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a shift of knowing what that word me points to. Because
Exactly.
for somebody who's looking for awakening, it's that image in the mind, the me, the image in the mind, with all the stories, emotions, thoughts that is identified as being. Being me is being that image. But when you see that, you cannot unsee it because that image is here. The thoughts are here. The patterns are here. Everything's here. But there is something that holds it all, that sees it all, that presence.
Right. You are both you, and you're both free of you.
Yeah.
Both are true. And
Yeah.
what I come to is awakening has more to do with paradox than anything else,
Mm-hmm.
and being comfortable writing the paradox. What I find interesting is highly sensitive people are drawn to awakening, but highly sensitive people tend to have internal critical voices,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're constantly evaluating ourselves. And that the awakening kind of resolves that, well, not resolves, but helps to resolve that critical voice. You see it for what it is.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't fall into moments, or doesn't mean I don't fall into moments of having that internal criticism, because I do. But it means that I'm more aware of it than I was, and I can take control of it lickety split in a way that it used to run me for months, weeks, years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only yesterday I was looking for some receipt for something I bought 3 years ago, and I could not find it. And I thought, how could I throw this away? How stupid that is. Like, oh my God, why would I throw this away?
Right.
Yeah. That the end of criticism. I threw it away. It's done. Finished.
Right. And then you catch yourself up. Okay. I'll try to return it. I won't return it. It's mine. I'll give it away. Whatever. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So otherwise you can spend life regretting things that happened or not didn't happen. It's no good. No benefit.
Well, the benefit is that you get to be right, that life is shitty, and that you one are a victim, and that you can't get ahead or whatever. That's the benefit of the ego, right? The ego wants to convince you that you're different and that you're special.
Oh
And
wow.
so
Mm-hmm.
those internal voices, you're different, special. And special could mean I'm a piece of poop, or I'm a great, hero. Special goes both ways. Different
Mm-hmm.
goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing about awakened people is they recognize, which is really funny, I think, how ordinary they are. They don't walk around thinking they're special. They think they're like, oh, I'm just a person. I'm just ordinary. And in that awareness, they are exceptionally special.
Hmm.
because they're not trying to push an agenda or try to get you to like, oh, look at me. I'm just an ordinary person. They're relieved. I don't have to prove myself. Whew.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of energy. A lot of energy.
Hmm. Yeah, it's fascinating because all that show in the head that is going on with all these characters that mind creates, me, others, mom, dad, partners, bosses, people, everyone. That's a good one. It's like everyone is expecting something of me, and I have to play that game and show up how they want me to be. And it's all this vague show that is going on in the head, in the same head. And that me there wants to awaken and cannot because it has to please all the other voices in the head first.
Right.
That's fascinating.
Right. And when you're in that state, you're not clear what is you and what's not you.
Hmm.
And since you don't know what's you and what's not you, you can't know who you are.
Can you talk a little bit about this?
Sure. Well, if I'm so hung up, and I have been, and I want to say there are moments I still am, I don't want to give your audience the impression, which I had, that once you're awakened, and there are many layers of awakening,
Hmm.
right? That all your problems go away. That's not true. Okay. Things are different. Right. If you're trying to awaken and grasping after enlightenment, you ain't getting enlightened because the part of you that's grasping, searching for it, can't wake up because it's grasping. Enlightenment, awakening is a form of allowing. It's not self-development. Within self-development is self-hatred. You can't awaken from a place of self-hatred. Doesn't happen. So much of our culture around New Age and whatever case is about improving yourself. That's not in concert with awakening. The way you awaken is you allow who you are. Good, bad, whatever judgments you have about yourself. Just allow, give yourself a break to be you. If we're up to anything in this life, it is not to build a building or paint a picture or have a role like a mommy or daddy. That's not what the point is. Let me
Hmm.
clear that up for your audience. It's not what we're here to do. We're here to have the experience of becoming ourselves. That's the goal.
Hmm.
You're here to become you, whoever that is, which means you have to allow yourself to be you. You have to allow yourself to have your impulse. That doesn't mean that you go around and touch people inappropriately because that's what you're drawn to do. But okay, I want to touch somebody inappropriately. Let me sit with that. Let me allow myself to have that desire. And in allowing yourself to have the desire, let's say to touch people inappropriately, you allow, you allow, you allow, and then the stuff that's causing the dysfunction falls away. Because the only reason it's standing there, keeping you imprisoned, is because you're not allowing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
The gates, the cage falls away by you like, okay, I'm caged. Fine, I'm caged. I allow it. Because when you look at somebody who's awakened, they're just allowing. So allow to get awakened. Another way of saying it is, if you want more joy in your life, start learning to enjoy yourself. It's the same logic. Did I answer your question? Or it doesn't
Partially.
matter?
We've been talking about how to recognize what you are.
Mm. Recognize who you are by allowing yourself to be you.
Yeah.
And you do that by moment by moment. Oh, look, I'm being mean to myself. Oh, look, I'm being mean to them in my head.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. Wow. What if I just allowed? I was couple of years back, I was walking my dog and I saw somebody with another dog, and she wasn't managing her dog well. Not like she was abusive, but she wasn't managing it, like pulling. And I started talking to her, telling her how to train her dog because I have a competency in this. And then later I was like, what the hell was that? Why do I need to change her? Why can't I just allow her the space to be who she is? And in that space that I open, she probably, maybe, could find loving compassion and find a way to train that dog. But because I want to change her, because I want to feel comfortable with what she's doing to her
Mhm.
dog,
Mhm.
I push myself into her world. And whenever I push myself into someone's world, you're going to get pushback.
Right.
As opposed to, oh, there's a woman whose dog seems to be out of control, in my opinion. Okay, love her. Love the dog. Don't interfere. Let her reality be what it is. Love her. The more you allow people to be who they are, you allow yourself to be who you are. That doesn't mean, and you and I both have clients, that when they come to us with an expressed desire and consent that they want your opinion to help them get where they want to go, then you intervene. But with
I agree. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of people, we were talking about this before the call,
Hmm.
that have damaged themselves on the journey to enlightenment. And what I've seen, and I did this myself, that's how I know this, is whenever any sort of guru or shaman or energy worker would come to town, I would make sure to be at their feet in the front row. And I would just take in as much as I could take in that they were highlighting for me to absorb. And the result of taking in so much energy in the United States, if you go to a diner, we have these, the honey is put in these bears. Do you have those, these little plastic bears that you put the honey in? Anyway, you've seen
Hmm.
that, right?
Hmm.
So overfill with the energy,
Hmm.
and that destabilizes you. Well, that can destabilize your nervous system, which is what happened to me. So enlightenment is not a sprint. You're not rushing to get there, my friends, because that's not allowing.
Right.
You invite, okay, I'd like to evolve in the way that my soul would like me to evolve, is inviting me to evolve. And my practice is to allow myself moment by moment and allow you all, to be who you are. That's the practice.
Beautiful. Yeah, I met a lot of people also, like I would say spiritual tourists who are going
Yeah.
from one stall to another stall and another stall and another stall. And I don't know what they're getting from that. But in the end, there's a big mess.
Well, it's only been what, 400 years that we live in this kind of situation. In the old days, there wasn't TV, there wasn't Instagram or Facebook. We'd sit around the fire, tell stories, and then somebody would run out of stories eventually, and you just sit there,
Hmm.
right? You just sit there, look at the fire or the stars or whatever, be amazed by the creation that you're a part of. We're not wired for this level of information,
True.
and it's
Uh-huh.
destabilizing us.
Yeah.
And if you're at all sensitive, which I imagine your audience is, being so in the world is dangerous. We have to learn to retreat, to take our meals. For instance, an idea would be to only eat meals sitting down in silence, to turn off the computer, to stop walking around with headphones while you take a walk. Step out of the world. We are wired for more silence, more steadiness. For centuries, millennia, We sat around at fires, looking at each other. If you want more awakening, the way in is stillness, silence, peace. And the juxtaposition there is people who generally are interested in enlightenment come from traumatic childhoods. So this is interesting, right? Because if you're raised kind of functionally, right, you have more stability in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not really that interested in awakening for the most part. However, if you're raised in a destabilizing environment, it kind of creates this desire for greater internal freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get that internal freedom, you got to work through your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And our trauma is in our body. Where else would it be? Where else would God put it? Right? Our trauma, our lessons, our karma is all in our body, which means we have to descend into our body and allow ourselves to be. And that's the trick. That's it. It's simple. And because it's so simple, it's like it blows the mind. Like, holy moly.
Yeah, it's simple and it's difficult because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Requires a lot of
nowadays if you are not used to meditating, if you don't have any practice, you can't really sit for 5 minutes still.
right. So, like for me, I'm a special, I don't know if you have special ed, but I am a special ed kid grown up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my attention span was very short.
Mm-hmm.
So I've developed practices that are short and pretty immediate to bring people into higher state. Can
Uh-huh.
we do a few of those? Would that be
Yes,
good?
please. I would love to experience.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do
So
it.
tell me what's happening as it happens. And so the first practice I always teach is still point. And
Mm-hmm.
why I call this still point is because it makes you still.
Uh-huh. Cool.
Like you had said, these people who are spiritual tourists hopping from person to person, receiving downloads, accelerations, not great. So instead of getting your accelerations from other people, the goal here is to be unified within the self and to get your accelerations from you
Mm-hmm.
because that energy is consistent with you. If you're going to a healer, a shaman, guru, those energies may not be consistent with your frequency. So, okay. So, three fingers below your belly button and in the middle of you, front, back, in the middle of you, I want you to bring your attention. So, three fingers below your belly button, also referred to as your dantian, your hara.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bring your attention down, three fingers below your belly button and in the middle of you, between your front and your back. And then, there you go. Very good. And then breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Tongue behind the front of your front teeth. That's going to circulate the energy. And now you're going to say still point. Can you say that?
Still point.
There you go. And
Still
drop.
point.
There you go. And now you're dropping. So we're taking your attention out of your head and out of your third eye, which you tend to be in, from what I can tell. And down you go into your still point. And if you want more assistance, you ask your guides, your being, your awakened ancestors, whatever that is, to help you go deeper. So you could just say, take me deeper. Can you say that?
Take me deeper.
Take, and
Take me
down you
deeper.
go. Down, 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 down. And now we're going to keep going down as your guides take you down further, allowing them to draw your attention into the center of you, wherever that may be. Nice, very nice. You have a lot of capacity. Good. How was that?
Wait.
Good. So you feel calmer, steadier. So that's something that you can do. I'm talking to the audience and you. Any moment of any day. That only takes a moment. And once you get used to this, you can access this space easily.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in front of your mother-in-law, your boss, the neighbor who's freaking out, drop down by just saying still point.
I love this. Still point. Yay.
Still point. It's a practice.
Hmm.
So many people want the magic pill of enlightenment. I get it. I did too. And but for me, it's more important what you do moment by moment with your attention that really makes the difference. We're quite familiar at this point with it matters what I put my attention on, prosperity, well-being, relationships. But what people are not talking about yet is where your attention is from.
Yes, good point.
Makes a critical difference. Can we do another one? Would that be okay?
Oh, yes, I'd love that. Hmm.
It feels to me like your audience, when I tune in, is looking outside of themselves. And
Hmm.
of course we are. Of course, there's no harm there because we're trained to look outside of ourselves. So we have a field, a jelly bean around us, above our head, to the sides, in front of us, behind us, and below us, a jelly bean. And some people's jelly bean extend out of the body 6 feet, 8 feet, 12 feet, and 13. It extends all the way out into, everything. But the field I'm bringing our attention to is your biofield, which is
Hmm.
about anywhere from 3 to 12, 13 feet out. So bring your attention into your still point now by saying still point,
Still point.
and down you go, three fingers below your belly button and in the middle of you. There you go. And now from here, without leaving your still point, become aware of the jelly bean of energy around you. Don't visualize it, just intend to become aware of it. I want to keep people out of their heads because there's nothing
Hmm.
good in there. I want to bring you more into your senses. Okay. It's true. You're laughing. It's true. There's nothing in there. Okay. It's just a radio that picks up frequency. Okay. So now become aware of your jelly bean. Very good. And now on the edges of your field, you have sensors that pick up information. We're going to turn those sensors in.
Ooh,
Instead
cool.
of you picking up attention outside, I want you to start bringing attention inside. So let's humor me if that's okay. Would that be all right?
Sure.
Okay, great. So into your still point we go one more time. Well, maybe not. One more time. And say still point.
Still point.
Okay, great. Now extend your hands out in front of you, your palms out in front of you. And now you're going to say, turn my sensors in,
Turn my sensors in.
flip your hands towards you. There you go. Now let's do it for real. Hands out in front of you. Still point, say that.
Still point.
There we go. Now say, turn my sensors in
Turn my sensors in.
and turn your hands slowly, slowly, because we're turning your sensors with your hands, slowly, slowly, until your palms are facing you. Slow it down. And now we've turned your sensors in. Keep going. And now your sensors are facing you. So now you're more aware of you than what's around you. There you go. Nice. So now you're more in your space, less aware of what's around you, and you can focus on you. And most folks who are seeking enlightenment tend to look outside themselves because our childhoods, we learn to be hypervigilant for many, right? So by turning our sensors in, we become aware of our own energy and therefore can build it and refine it and clarify it. How was this, the turning for you?
Did it happen?
Yeah, good. So
It's,
many
it
people are
feels a little
trying.
bit calmer,
Yeah,
less noisy.
yep, that's very good. Very true. Yeah. And you're quite, elevated. You have had this experience before of this calmness, even more so, right? But during your everyday, you're with this person, that person, we tend to look out and we lose our calmness because we're in the chaos of everyone else,
Hmm.
their emotions. their feelings, what's happening politically. And then we overextend and then we wind up getting overwhelmed. Calmness is our friend. What brings us into calm is good. What brings us out of calm, not so good. All right, so down, in we go. Bring my sensors in. Great exercise for people pleasers. I'm a people pleaser. So I love to please, right? But people pleasers tend to be so focused on other people and helpers, and we like to help, and we tend to give away too much.
Hmm.
We tend to be exhausted, right? So by turning our sensors in, we become aware of our own energy. And instead of trying to raise our vibration, don't do that. We start to clarify our vibration. You can't raise your vibration because that means that there's something wrong with your own vibration. There's nothing wrong with you or me or anyone else. You can clarify your vibration. For instance, if your ice cream, your particular flavor of ice cream, let's say mint chocolate chip. If I'm mint chocolate chip, I want to be the mintiest, chocolatiest chip that there ever was. I don't want any caramel in there. I don't want any sprinkles in there. I don't want any fudge. I just want mint chocolate chip. What, as in awakening people, trying to awaken beyond where we are. We're trying to clarify. We're trying to be more of who we are and let go of what is not us.
Hmm.
Healing is always a subtraction.
Hmm.
You are subtracting, you're not adding ever. But the people who are pursuing self-development are constantly trying to improve themselves and bring in things. And it's a recipe for negativity.
Very nicely said. Yeah.
I did good.
Yay. It's like adding more knowledge, adding more information, adding more, I don't know what. Doesn't really
Right.
work.
I mean, there's a place for it, right? As in their 20 people in their 20s and 30s are trying to build their kingdom, their fiefdom, and their careers, and there's a place for it.
Yeah, but not
But
in awakening. Awakening is
no.
disillusionment. It's
Yeah.
letting go of all the false, the what remains. What remains
You know,
when
isn't
all
that
the false is taken away.
right, right, right? If someone told me, "Hey, Colby, you seem like you're a spiritual seeker." Yeah, yeah, I really want to find God. I would have said,
Hmm.
"Oh, really? Oh, you want to find God? Hmm. Okay, Colby, do you know you're going to have to relinquish false selves?" I would have said, "What are you talking about?" Well, all that you think you are, that you're not,
Hmm.
that you're tied to, that's what you're going to be doing. That's, and there's going to be a lot of suffering because you have a lot of attachment to your false self. What do you mean? Well, for instance, if you're really attached to being attractive, that's going to come under attack because you're here to if you want to awaken, you're going to have to let go of that attachment. Not that you're going to have to get ugly or anything, but you're going to have to let go of the attachment to being attractive. That means you might find yourself in situations where you don't feel like other people are seeing you attractive, and that may be painful for you.
Hmm.
Measure of how awakened somebody is in some respects is how many cells have they let go of. That's the measure. So, and when I don't let go easily. I don't know about you. I don't let go easily, my friend, you know, and the more we hold on, the more we suffer. That's it. If you want to awaken, allow yourself to be who you are, let go of your attachment. And the way you know you're attached is when you say, I am blank, there's your attachment right there. So, for instance, I am successful spiritual healer. Well, Colby, if you weren't a successful spiritual healer, would that be okay with you? No, it would not be okay with me. I need to be successful. Attachment,
Right, right.
right? I am healthy. Are you attached to being healthy? I want to be healthy. So it sounds like you're attached. Can you let go of that? Maybe you could feel well even if you don't feel well. Oh, wow. That's deep. So I'm going to have to let go of attachments that I don't even know I'm attached to. Yeah. You're going to become aware of them because you're going to suffer.
Hmm. Yeah, and for like long long time spiritual seekers, the biggest attachment is that being a spiritual seeker.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Isn't that funny? There's an old joke that
Uh-huh.
goes, uh, these guys go up to wherever and they see a sign that says, for enlightenment, this way. It's an arrow. And then there's
Mhm.
another sign that says, for the workshop, how to reach enlightenment, this way. And everyone wants to go to the workshop because we're attached to earning it.
Yeah.
We're attached to being somebody who tries really hard. Look at me, I tried hard and I got here. As opposed to, here you go, boom. Wow, that was easy. Yeah. You have a very calm vibration, very calm, very settled. It's nice.
Thank you. That's why I have
Sure.
the fire behind me.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. You and I are very different in our vibration.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that's important to note for your audience because you could be awakened or interested in awakening, and everyone is so different, their form of awakening. Mine is more fiery, more playful, more chatty, right? Yours, stable, calm, open-hearted, right? Hmm.
Good to have some. I have some mint tea today with honey. What are you
Oh,
drinking?
Tulsi original? Do you guys have that?
Mm, yep.
It's a green. Yeah. Ooh. Um, what do you think of the guru path? What do you think of following a guru?
I don't know. I never experienced that. I can only talk from my own experience. I never followed any gurus.
And you've done plants, mushrooms. What's your thought on that?
Mushrooms. Oh, I love them. And I've done a lot of things. I didn't mention that one of the biggest experiences was smoking bufo toad venom or this 5-MeO DMT.
Okay. I don't know what that is. Okay.
Yeah, that's, you do that with a shaman properly. Basically, that's DMT, you inhale it, then you
Yeah.
experience death or disassemble, disappear, and then you
Oh,
go into this, what I would say, golden light, peace, love. That is the true nature or the consciousness or what everything
wow.
is made of. I got to experience that. So I know.
And do
But
you
it's not for
find that?
everyone. I don't recommend
No,
that.
no, 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 no. It's definitely not for me.
No,
So I
no,
am a
but he
very,
called me and I went there. So it
yeah.
was like cosmic event that brought direct knowing of, what God, what that points to.
And do you find that that awareness sticks or goes away when you come down after a few days or weeks? Do you find that does that awareness that you get stick with you or does it go?
The knowing remains.
That's wonderful.
Yes, but I met a lot of people who go for high. They go to experience that over and over and over again. And it never sticks because sometimes people go, oh, this will give me enlightenment or awakening. But it only shows you what you need to see. And then you integrate.
Got it. So you and I are different in this. I've got a very sensitive system.
Hmm.
And so things in the past have destabilized my system.
Hmm.
So I did ayahuasca and a beautiful plant or two plants, but it not for me. Not for me. I'm already very sensitive, and I think that it just makes me more sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the benefits of developing intuitive power is to know what's yours,
Yeah.
as opposed to following somebody else's path or advice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I honestly don't know how people get by without intuition. I don't, or active intuition. I don't know how they do it. So, can I share something here? Would that be okay?
Yes,
Because it's my
of course.
tip. So, as a high sensitive person, I have to be very aware of what I put in my body, what I expose myself to, or there are consequences potentially, and I can
Mm-hmm.
choose those consequences or not. So, I've learned over the course of time how to measure a field. So, this is a cup, right? And in the cup is tea, Tulsi, as we discussed. This cup and tea have a field of energy.
Mm-hmm.
You have a jelly bean of energy. The key is to sense how the fields connect. How does my jelly bean connect with this cup and this tea?
Mm-hmm.
If the fields get along, they will connect like so. If they don't get along, you'll get a pushback.
Right.
Okay?
Like a magnet
Yeah,
field.
very good. Very good. Yeah, absolutely true. So let me grab something here. Yeah, there we go. Glasses.
Aha.
Okay. These glasses have a field of energy.
Uh-huh.
I can become aware of my field by bringing my attention into my still point, and I say still point. And then I bring something to the edge of my field, ideally not touching it, but for the purpose of this demonstration. And then I bring it in. I stay in my still point. And from my still point, I sense whether this comes in or gets pushed out.
Ah.
Now, here's the trick. Most people will leave their still point and bring their attention here to the object. That's not going to give you information.
Mm-hmm.
You're staying in your still point while you're aware of that which is coming in
Mm-hmm.
to see if it comes in, or rather matriculates in, I'm not quite sure the word, or gets pushed out. If you leave, sensors go out, you're then in your head. And all that's in your head is thoughts, which are not even yours, and you have thoughts about this item or not, or whatever, and you're going to make something up, but you're not going to be aware that you're making it up. So, for instance, the way I would use this is when I'm choosing, let's say, a supplement, trying to find, or a book, Astrology for the Soul. Okay, right. I'm going to go to the bookstore, assuming there are still bookstores. I'm going to bring my attention into a still point, and then I'm going to bring this in. Oh, look, my system likes that. It likes this book. It does. I would like to read this book. All the information about this book is in the field around it.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel, does my system like this book? Or here's the Idiot's Guide to Positive Dog Training.
Okay. Uh-huh.
No, it doesn't like it. I feel this, a push back.
Where did you got the book from?
Oh, this is positive dog. I've got this years ago, and I'm not a fan of positive dog training. I'm more of a fan of balanced dog training. I feel and I get pushback.
Uh-huh.
So you could do this with supplements, medications, a practitioner you're thinking about seeing, a trip that you're exploring going, property that you're thinking about purchasing, careers. Does it go into my field easily or does it get pushed out?
Mm-hmm.
And this way, for me as a sensitive, like, oh, a lot of people are doing mushrooms for awakening or this for awakening or that. Huh. Is that good for me? Oh, no. No, no, not. No. Now I could go and do it. I have free will, but the consequences are mine.
Hmm.
Sickness, whatever
Hmm.
it's going to happen. So this is really handy on your path to awakening to determine what's for you and what's not. We
Right.
have to, if we're going to liberate, we're going to liberate with a body. We don't
Hmm.
liberate without it. Your body is your partner and has all your lessons and karma, as we've discussed. Best to get along with it. And
Yeah.
this can go a long way to figuring out what works for you.
Hmm. I have the same in the different words. I say if it's not yes, then it's a no.
If
Like
it's
you
not,
know
yeah.
your yes. You know your yes, right? Yes, yes. Feels good.
If,
And if
yes,
it's not
that's,
that, it's a no.
thank you. You've just given me a gift today. You've just given me a real gift. I haven't said that in those words. Sometimes the words are so important, right? Getting the right words. I ask, what's a no? That's great. That's really great. I've been playing with the idea of giving uh, um, templating what awakening is for clients.
Hmm.
Like I can template it out. And I've been like, do I want to do that? And it's a yes. It's a very strong yes. Although I have some hesitancy, which I have to look at. So thank you very much. Because what I've said before is we're only as happy as we give ourselves permission to be,
Oh, yes. I
right?
agree. Yeah.
So I'm going to turn my camera. You see this fish tank over here? Can you see that?
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So I saw this is maybe 30 years, 20 years ago, and I saw that fish tank, and it's acrylic and it doesn't have edges. It was kind of like, I don't know, $500, something ridiculous at the time, $300, whatever it was. And I really liked it, and I do fine financially, right? Whatever. And I was like, well, I'll go look for it on Craigslist, right? And I looked and I found some, and they're like, oh, it's scratched up. You're gonna have to buff it out with a drill. And I'm like, I barely take care of the house. I'm not gonna buff out a fish tank in my backyard, right? And spend 10 hours buffing this thing out with a drill. And then I found it again, and this is like 2 years later, 3 years later. Again, it was scratched, and I'm like, wow, I really want this. I've wanted it for now 2 or 3 years, and I won't give myself permission to have what I want. Isn't that interesting? I want it, but yeah, there's a part of me that thinks, oh, it's too expensive for you to have an expensive fish tank. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what if I gave myself what I wanted? I complain that life is not giving me what I want, but what if I gave myself what I want? So I appreciate if you're not a yes, you're a no, right? And the only thing that stands in your way sometimes of having what you want is giving yourself permission to have what you want.
Right. And you know what? That was the theme of my last meeting. That this
Hmm?
permission thing really came into focus. It's always
Oh,
been here, right? And I've been using that with my clients a lot. But now I can see that, yes, it's all about permission. We are waiting for permission from mom and dad to be happy,
right.
or from somebody else
Right. Or
who we give our power to give us
right.
permission.
We think
But
it's gonna be
yeah,
okay with.
but it comes down to telling out loud. I give myself permission to whatever you need that to awaken,
You know,
to
I was
see
thinking, yeah,
to see my true nature. I give myself permission to enjoy my life. And just saying
right,
that, you can feel the vibration that is going through the body.
right. I give myself permission to enjoy my life. I was thinking it might be fun to work at an ice cream store, like on a Saturday, like giving people ice cream. Because you and I deal with people who are, have problems, which is, I love it. But it would be nice to just give people scoops of ice cream. You know what I mean? Just here's some ice cream. I mean, it's dairy, fine, whatever. But most people who are eating ice cream are pretty happy. I mean, even if they're depressed because they're eating ice cream, they're thankful that they're having the ice cream. I was like, that would be fun. And I worked in an ice cream store when I was in college many, many years ago. And then I thought, wow, what are people going to think if they see me working in this ice cream store? Like my clients, my peers. Oh, I can't work in an ice cream store. I'm thinking. They'll think, and I'm like, wow, isn't that really wild? Like I only give myself permission for what I think other people, whoever they may be, which is nameless, right? It's not like
Yeah,
I'm worried
other
about
people
Larry or
doesn't
Bob.
exist.
Other people will think about me in the store serving ice cream, which is what I love to do. One of the things I love to do, but I'm not going to let myself have it because some unnamed people who are just in my brain, my mind,
Hmm.
may not approve. And they don't even exist.
Yes, that's the funny thing.
They don't even exist. It's my idea. And we are imprisoned by our ideas of what we think is okay for us.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean that, there aren't, consenting adults and all that, right? But wow, where else am I containing myself, imprisoning myself, domesticating myself because of some idea of what's acceptable by some people that don't exist?
yeah.
As you said when you did the mushroom journey, I think it was mushrooms. Like, wow, none of this is real. Like, none
What's
of this is real.
reality? Yeah.
Right, right. None of this is real. Wild.
Yeah.
And I get to have fun with it. I get to have fun with it. This is something to have fun with,
Mm.
right? It's not nothing's weird, nothing's real. It's wow, nothing's real. And it's not nothing's real. Now I can bend it so that I can live a materialistic lifestyle and have my caviar and my big house. No,
Why
no,
not?
no.
If that's what you
You
want, you can
can.
have.
You certainly can. You can. But I think when you reach this level, those things, I mean, who knows? But well, I can only speak for myself. It's not important. I should say that. It's not important
Oh,
to
that's
me.
freedom. If
And
they
that is
come, if the caviar is being served on a plate, I'll eat it.
absolutely. Thank you very much for that awareness. It's not that it's not great caviar, it's that I'm not chasing it.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be okay.
Hmm.
There you go. There it is. That's awakening. I don't need it to be okay. I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm okay. I don't need this, that, and the other thing. I don't need your approval. I don't need to be sexy or cute or seen as smart, seen as successful, seen as whatever, virile. I'm okay. I'm
How
okay.
about I don't need to awaken to be okay?
I don't even need to be that'll get you there. You need to awaken. Your
Talking about
concept of
attachment.
awakening is not awakening.
Yes, that's true.
It's not awakening.
Hmm.
Yeah. No,
Cheers to that.
absolutely.
Okay, since our time is coming to the end, could you give your best advice to the seeker, like freshly from the field? Your best advice to the spiritual seeker who's looking to awaken.
If you're seeking, it means you're not accepting what is. By the very definition of seeking, I will not accept what is, and that's why I'm trying to change it. That's not going to wake you up. You can change the circumstances of your life, money, relationships, health. You can. But the way you do that is you accept what is. If you're on the couch and can't move because you're sick and you don't know what's wrong, and I'm speaking to you sensitives out there, accept that this may be your life forever. I know that sounds dire. However, by accepting what is, you eat up the charge, the karma, the samskara that may be impacting you. If you're single and don't want to be, and have tried and tried and tried, accept the fact that you will never, ever meet somebody. Ever. That sounds negative. That sounds like it's going to depress me. But by accepting it and, okay, I will be single, and finding well-being, not convincing yourself, but purely accepting it. And you eat up the karma, that samskara, the charge, the limiting beliefs that's making it wrong and keeping this circumstance in play. And then something may change. If you can't find your purpose, whatever that is, meaning, accept you will never, ever, ever find purpose. I will never, ever find purpose. My whole life, I'll never know it. That's okay. Find a place in you that it's okay. It's okay. Because what you're doing is you're mirroring the enlightened state and therefore bringing it in. Like attracts like. Like I said before, if you want a life of joy, start enjoying yourself. And stop hopping from healer to healer, therapist to therapist. Find one person to work with that understands your mental landscape, that you are willing to allow yourself to take them into the dark places within you to bring light. Enlightenment, we are damaged by relationship. That's where we're damaged, right? So the way to resolve that damage in large part is to form a relationship with a practitioner, a respected person that you admire, and let them go with you into the dark places. And you're only going to let somebody in who you know. Build a relationship with somebody. That was long. That was long. I'm winded. Whew.
Oh, that must have been needed to be heard. Thank you.
There you go. I need to learn to
Yes.
talk sound bites. There you go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And how can people find you if they choose to let you in?
Thank you. I have a website, colbywilk.com, COLBYWILK, and I'm most on the social media channels. I have a free gift I wanted to give your listeners called The First Secret to Finding Your Way. And I think you have that link. Um, and I have a newsletter on my website where I'm constantly sharing practices like the still point and turning your sensors in that can help reach a more awakened state pretty quickly. So that's
Wonderful.
good. Best place is my website, colbywilk.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Such an honor and joy
Namaste.
to speak to you. And thank you everyone for watching, for listening, and I hope you got something wonderful out of this conversation, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.